What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about ProText Mobility, ticker is TXTM. Very good day for it. So you can see 24% up. I do want to do a little bit more technical analysis and go over some of the recent news and things that's happening behind the scenes and give you a good projection of possibly are we at the bottom? Are things starting to trend up? I'm going to give you some good projections on that. But before I get into any of that, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. But getting right to it though. So on this screen, a little bit higher volume today. So that's something optimistic that we need to keep in mind. And where the average is, this is largely because of the FOMO that got kicked in. This is a 3-month average, so generally speaking, a lot of that over the last several weeks has been significantly higher, 600 plus million if not more. So 69 million is definitely very good if you ask me. But when it comes down to a lot of the shorts have been really manipulating obviously ProText. And when it comes down to it though, that happens a lot with over-the-counter stocks. Just want to give you this. I'm on Ortex. There's currently 48.8 thousand shares that are currently on loan being shorted. Utilization is 1.9%. And overall, just want to give you a good projection of how much daily volume is actually happening with ProText. Looking here, it is all over the place. And they're trying to manipulate it and benefit from it. And that typically does happen, like I said, with over-the-counter stocks. Typically, when you do get a nice little spike, similar to what happened with ProText, a lot of shorts kind of take advantage of the ambiguous kind of situation what's going on, because it could have gone either way. It could have easily gone up continuously, especially after the conference that did happen. There was some good things that was said. Obviously, it wasn't necessarily as much as what a lot of investors wanted to hear, so they took advantage of that and really tried to short it to pretty much kingdom come. But right now, I think post that situation, I think the broader market is starting to rebound, in addition to obviously the cannabis market. And so with that though, I think with the recent news that did come out about cannabis and also psychedelic drugs, not necessarily getting legalized, but again easier for it to be kind of prescribed for medical situations and for veterans and things like that. So I think that is what is giving ProText a little bit more stability, because obviously during the recent conference, they were really ambitious about saying about the psychedelics, which aka is magic mushrooms, in case you do not know, which that is a very illegal substance. Technically, there's been a lot of kind of movements and studies being done on that, because I think there's a lot of also medical benefits to that, which again is very beneficial for ProText. And this is where I feel if you kind of look at this and monitor it, it has been having nice little spikes. So you can recently see what did happen. Obviously, everyone was talking about ProText, gone down a little bit, had a nice little rebound, starting to kind of trickle down again. But it is starting to look very promising as of right now. So this is where I feel, based on a lot of the technicals, shorts are basically done with ProText. My own 2 cents. I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence at the end of the day. But there was recent news, nothing really substantial for the actual business, but RSA did ultimately talk on how the chairman 𝗪𝗓𝗓 was received a high honor of being appointed the National Commodity Board Chairman of Cannabis and All Indigenous Flora. So again, it's not necessarily any benefit for us as investors. It's just more so a just update per se. But still, again, it's good to see that RSA is actually keeping up with PR. Like I said as well on previous videos, that was my impression that was coming from RSA, especially more so from Twitter. They took over ProText's Twitter, obviously, and started to kind of retweet stuff even from like 2010, from a long time ago. So that's a very positive thing if you ask me. You really need a over-the-counter stock that is very good with PR, keeps investors happy at the end of the day. But with that though, I just want to cap it off with some technical analysis. And like I said, given the circumstances, things are starting to look up right now. So I do have the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic, and momentum. So starting with stochastic, you can see there is a deviation, red line above the black, showing a little bit more of a bearish sentiment. But despite that, we are very much oversold. So you kind of get that when shorts really manipulate something. So I think this is why I do feel we are very much at the bottom. Momentum, you can see number of buyers have gone down considerably. Basically, almost since that news or that conference came out, a lot of investors didn't really like it or kind of answer all the questions or the necessary questions. RSI is currently at 50, fairly neutral, but on the actual chart, this is where it's getting a little bit more optimistic, and I'll just quickly move over here just to give you a good projection. I'm just going to talk on this. So first, second, and third resistance points. We actually did break past the first two. very optimistic, and you can see technically it's just a finite line. All we need to do is break over this before we can easily trend up. On the contrary though, this is why I really do like this. First, second, and third support, very tight knit. So this is again where I've been saying for I think the third or fourth time now, we are very close to the bottom. If not, the bottom is already passed. So this is potentially a very good time to buy in, especially if you are a fan of a cannabis sector or even technically psychedelics, because hands down, this is a very good sign, very good company if you ask me. Just want to quickly give you, that is a projection, 47 million as far as the market cap. Typically, when you have a company such as obviously ProText that has such a small market cap, when any good piece of news that does come out for it, it goes up very, very fast. So once again, if you are a very big fan of the cannabis sector, you want to invest, this possibly might be where you might have a little bit more advantage over a lot of the larger cap companies, especially as well. What they did say is that they have no debt, again, which is a very good positive. And in addition to that, they're going to be doing a token for cryptocurrency in case they ever need cash in the future, which is a little bit more backwards way, doesn't dilute the actual shares. Very beneficial, very different way, but again, this is now 2022 and we can do whatever the hell we want as long as it makes sense and passes the basic guidelines for the SEC. Then you know what, it's all fair game. So at the end of the day, let me know your thoughts on ProText. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, greatly appreciate that. And if you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on ProText.